Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, at the end, yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. We will start the meeting at 6:33. We will start with a statement of acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge this land that we meet on today is the traditional lands for the Gawler people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Gawler people as the custodians of the Greater Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Gawler people today. We have apologies from Max and Xanthi, and currently missing Abby, and Jack has just wrapped up. So, do we have any motions to grant leave of absence? Nope, and we don't have any current leave of absence. We'll move on to our public open forum, and we have Lauren Dempsey with us today on Zoom, if we can get her. None of our screens are working, but hopefully we'll be able to see her on the big screen in a second. She is, I believe, from Purple Orange and is here to talk to us about youth disability and current networks. All good? Okay, if you can hear us.
Yep.
Awesome, please take it away.
Amazing. Thanks, everyone. Sorry, I saw it had started, but I couldn't hear anything, so it was just like waiting.
We're just having a bit of audio difficulty,
Eden.
sorry.
And pretty much pardon?
Sorry, we're just having some audio difficulty. If you could just give us 1 second. I think we're all good. Maybe if you could go from the top, please.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's all good. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, sorry, I was just saying I wasn't sure as well because I noticed that you'd started, but I couldn't hear anything. So, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for the time and opportunity to speak. I'm really sorry I couldn't be.
Sorry, it's always at the same point.
What was that?
Okay, keep going. Sorry, we'll make do with it. Keep going.
Do you need me to? Is it still doing it?
No. I think we're okay. Third time's a charm.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for having me. Maybe I'll just keep this super brief. So my name's Lauren. I'm from Enabled Youth Disability Network, or EDEN. We're a youth advisory group, so we're incorporated. So we have a board of young people with disability, and all of our tasks that we do is, in works for young people with disability by young people with disability. So we've got a peer network where we do capacity building and community engagement, and then we also support policy and supporting advocacy sort of in our space. I wanted to touch base with the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee because we're really interested. We do regional peer networks. So what they are is typically monthly or bi-monthly connectors for young people with disability, and that doesn't necessarily mean just NDIS participants. It's anyone who identifies with disability. So you don't have to be diagnosed, you don't have to be on NDIS to have community engagement. So a moment to connect together. It might be about a topic that's really important to young people with disability. And our interest is to start one up around Barossa and Gawler. So currently we do it in Adelaide Metro, and there are some options to do online and in person. But also there's so many opportunities as well, and knowing that Gawler's kind of on the edge of being in that regional sort of space, but we see it as a really important voice and area to connect because it can be quite difficult for transport and things for young people to be able to go to the city. So yeah, we've spoken to a peer connector that's part of Purple Orange, which we fall under the banner. So they've got Skill and Our Voice SA. Skill currently do connectors for families living with disability in the Barossa, and so they've mentioned that there is an interest to have this engagement. But I guess I wanted to sort of check in and ask if it's something that you've noticed might be of interest in Gawler or has been spoken by the Youth Advisory Committee, as well as intersections. We're looking at, is it something that we bring a workshop every now and again? Is it better to have something ongoing and more of a drop-in session? Is it something that we look at intersections of LGBTQI plus community and the disability community? And also that thing of age range, because we actually work with people up to the ages of 35. So youth in our area is sort of 16 to 35 is what we mostly work with. But if it's something that you think that might be younger people have been craving something like that for opportunities, yeah, I guess I just wanted to hear your thoughts on if you had any ideas or if you think it is something of interest and we should get started on it straight away.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have any questions or discussion from the YAC? Cody, you want to go?
So when you're talking about disability, is this, I guess, are we talking because there's a lot of talk about like autism, ADHD, all that sort of thing. Is that all fitting into when you're talking about disability?
Absolutely. So we don't, we work from a community model of citizenhood, and it's more about if people identify with disability, and that's what it is. So that's including mental health, that's including physical, sensory disabilities, autism, as you mentioned, intellectual disability as well is there. We do we cover everything, whereas other Purple Orange groups like Our Voice SA mostly focus on people with intellectual disability, disability elders of all ages. That's another group that might do stuff in the Barossa that's sensory-based disabilities. And then Skill is general as well, but more to do with supporting their families and friends within the disability community. So we focus on everything. Yeah. So even if some people don't identify with disability, but they might identify with chronic illness or mental health. Absolutely, we don't discriminate anyone to not come along because we don't think their disability is valid. It's nothing like that at all.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? Jack?
Thank you, Lauren. You mentioned before that your organisation sits under the banner of Purple Orange. I was just wondering if you could explain a bit more as to how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. So this could be a whole workshop, so I'll try and cut it down. But pretty much the Julia Farr Association Purple Orange used to be what was the Julia Farr building years and years ago, where it used to be sort of homing for people, mostly with brain injury and disability. Of course, as the history goes on and people realise that it's important for human rights, and Julia Farr and Purple Orange now work in ways to remove group housing, to advocate for people with disability, and provide equal opportunity for people with disability within the community. And so most of us are a non-profit organisation. We're also attached to in-housing and Stretchy Tech, which are accessible housing options for people, and really cool gadgets and all sorts of amazing things. But there's multiple projects that come under Purple Orange because there's so much. So there's disability inclusion training, which they do. The projects that I mentioned before, so similar to what Eden does, but they focus on getting grant funds and using the money so that everyone's provided these services for free. So no one pays because it's based off of community grants, which are typically NDIS or the Department of Social Service. And so Eden's incorporated. So we technically, we're in partnership with Purple Orange and a lot of the advocacy and policy making that they make, but we're still incorporated. So it's still completely run at the moment by young people with disability. And we do a lot of work connected with what Purple Orange does, but we're not limited to everything that they do. It's more if we just that's where our base is, where we are on Green Hill Road, and our support comes from with all the administration and all the really tricky parts to run an organisation.
Cool, thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Abby, yes?
Thanks, Lauren. You mentioned that you mainly focus on people between the ages of 16 and 35-ish. What happens when you are supporting somebody and they sort of surpass that age? Do you hand them to other people you work with or something like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So because we're specifically youth focused is what our area is, and there's a really big gap between that sort of, let's say, high school education to higher education or employment. That's typically why we end up doing lots of stuff for sort of 18 to 30. We don't see that as quite accessible for everyone, and so that's why we some people leave earlier and do other things, and so we put it down to 16. And then, of course, that transition that you're speaking about, that can be really tricky. That's why we've put it to 35. So there's a few years to look at different options, which is where Purple Orange comes really in handy, because they have very similar groups which aren't necessarily part of that youth demographic, but are doing very similar work. So we would recommend, if they wanted to continue, to go to those other groups. Or maybe they're at a point in their life where they're finding further employment or doing something else, and they just want to join in for other options. Like we have focus groups and co-design groups throughout the year, which provide employment opportunities and income, and employment experience for young people with disability as well, to voice their experiences based on the education system or transport or the NDIS review, all sorts of stuff that we kind of work on. So we encourage to not just sort of have people drop off. We like to try and make sure that they're able to have an opportunity to continue the work if they're really interested in that. And same with our board members. So our board members do have to resign by 30, but at the same time, we try and help with the transition if they want to continue on a board. The Julia Farr Purple Orange have 3 boards that are always seeking people, as well as we can also connect them into maybe places of interest that they might be interested, or even councils.
Yes, Cody?
So do you, I guess, so is it more of a sort of support group where you're helping just the people involved, or do you also have an advocacy role? I'm just curious, because a lot of the stuff that needs to be done, I guess, around disability is funding or policy, universities changing their policies to account for people with dyslexia, or, various things like that. Do you do that side of things as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You're very right. It's a really important part of what we do. I guess we always sort of split it. I see it as splitting it into 2. So our board do a lot more of the space of politics or policies, they typically will want to push towards getting information out there to, and we do lots of consultations. So there's no other group that's actually in South Australia that is purely focused on young people with disability. So we typically get a lot of people wanting to have consultations with us, which is where we try and push for employment opportunities and paid work rather than just asking for young people to give their time all the time. But yeah, so we do heaps of advocacy work in regards to what young people are wanting, especially young people with disability. So education's been a massive one. The NDIS review, employment opportunities, mental health has come up as a really big thing that we're going to focus on, mental health and well-being, because there's not enough support that actually helps young people with disability and focuses on that intersection. But also then the peer networks that we have, it gives an opportunity that people don't necessarily, if they just want to have community engagement, meet other people with disability, learn a skill or have something of topic of interest, they can do that without then having to commit to a lot of the other stuff which they might not see as of interest. But we try to support learning about self-advocacy and, in the areas that include consenting and in those areas that are most important, like you're mentioning, so speaking to universities and talking about how to advocate for yourself better with NDIS, with education, within your employment. What are your human rights is a big focus for us, but we can always find a way to do it in a fun way.
Awesome. Anything else? Councillor White?
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Lauren, for the presentation. It sounds like you guys do some pretty great work. Just from a logistic point of view, so what can you offer, I guess, for council here? So, like, we have a youth space here which runs activities and workshops, school holidays, after-school programs, and a number of different things. Can you offer, like, workshops? Would it go over a series of weeks? What sort of end goals can you offer that we might be able to consider for the town of Gawler?
Yeah, I guess that's where I was kind of wanting to ask you what's the need and what's the want. So my biggest thing is, especially when working with regional or communities that are really close, there's not an interest for me to come in and say, we're going to do this and this is how it's done and you're going to enjoy it. We really like to come in initially, potentially with a workshop or something, to have a greeting opportunity and ask, well, what do the young people with disability in the area want? And let's say what we're setting up in regional places or metro is a monthly connector. It's free. And it might provide guest speakers, depending on, let's say, if Gawler said, well, we really want to focus on training or development or cooking or dancing or advocacy work or employment. It can be a range of all sorts of things. What we attempt to do is provide a safe space to connect together, provide some resources, and have discussion, and that involves, and a bit of food and a bit of a chance for everyone to connect. And then, sometimes we have guest speakers from different providers or different organisations, or we can run a cooking class or something. And based on the grant that we're currently under until June, its ILC funding is that community and capacity building. So we provide the payment for all of it, and we typically have payment options for venue hire and things. It's just if there's an option of, look, we've got a youth space and we'd love for you to come in and, host this or host that, then we're very open to that as well. I'm actually based in Everston Gardens, really close by. And we would like to employ 2 peer connectors that live in the Barossa, which are young people with disability or close by, in Gawler, to help facilitate and run the workshops that are young people with disability. So it's all focused. we're pretty flexible. It's just that we need to make sure that as long as we have an accessible space, that we can provide a in-person and online option, and that it's led by young people with disability in the area of what they would like to see or work on together. So that could be a series of workshops, could be just one big project. It could just be a community gathering and a chance to connect, depending on availability, as young people are very busy. So we never want to push to do loads of things all at once. It could be even like a big event if they just wanted a one-off event a year. But yeah, we would like it to be community-led and driven.
Awesome. Any other comments, questions? More of a discussion point. I'm not sure if Gawler has any disabled-led groups. We do, because it might be a good idea to reach out to them and discuss what they would be interested in on behalf of the YAC.
She can do that through our Gawler Youth Network.
Through our Gawler Youth Network, we would be able to do that. I just have learnt. So thank you very much, Lauren. I think we'll be able to take this information and use it very well and reach out to our groups within Gawler, and hopefully do some workshops or some events and see what these groups would like out of this opportunity. So thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time, and happy to reach out, and I can send through some of our resources for people to sort of have a look over. And maybe we'll sort of get in touch in the early new year, as I'm sure the rest of this year's a bit busy for everyone, and see what we can hopefully do together.
Awesome. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Cool. We will move on to item 4, if that is all good, which is the declarations of interest, and we have a general conflict of interest from Emerson, which I believe is due to reapplying. Yes. Speak. Pardon? Oh, do you need to speak to the conflict of interest? Oh, okay, yes. Easy.
Hello, I didn't realize I had to speak. Emerson, assuming you guys know me by now. I would like to reapply, but I also...
this is just for the declaration of interest, I believe.
Oh, okay then. Oh yeah, I have interest. I would reapply.
Okay.
So I can leave the room, right? Do you want me to leave the room now?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Cool.
This is just the declaration of interest, and
Okay.
then we'll move on to reapplying later.
Cool.
Yeah, you have a declaration of interest. That's all we need to know. Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which is the confirmation of minutes. Do we have any discussion in the minutes? Don't believe I have any. Okay, if there's no discussion, I am after a mover, Abby, Dale, and a seconder, Edward. And that's it. All those in favour? It's been a while. Carried unanimously. We'll move on to item 6, which is the business arising from the minutes, and I don't believe we have any. There was nothing for us to discuss in a future meeting, was there? There were a couple items listed for discussion at future meetings. 9.1 being the review of the youth sponsorship program, and 9.2 being the youth traineeship. And I believe, if I saw correctly, that's the sponsorship program. We have an item for the sponsorship program, which is 7.3, and an item 7.5 for the youth traineeship. So that is all good. We'll move on to item 7, which is the decision reports. And starting with 7.1, we have the appointment of members. And if I can find my other page, we have 2 current positions available. And we have two people applying, one of them being Emerson and the other being a new member, Natalie White, which is in the audience. We'll start with Emerson. He can be the leader in this. Would you like to speak at the tables? All good, yeah?
Making sure. Hi, Emerson, again. I don't know, I'd like to reapply. It's fun here. I do have fun. It's good deciding, and I do enjoy learning what's happening in Gawler, but I also don't want to post your vote. You can vote no for me. I wouldn't care. I don't care. You can vote yes for me. I don't care, to be honest. It's fun here, but if you don't want me, it's fine. That's about it.
Do we have any questions for Emerson? Nope, okay. We'll move on. Don't laugh, Mum. Natalie, would you like to come up to the podium? And we'll just ask you to give a quick, 2 minutes, your name, who you are, what you do. Yeah. You might not be able to top Emerson, but it's okay.
Go with her, Emerson. Take her up. Emerson, you can speak on her behalf. Yeah, Abby will speak on her behalf. It's okay.
Alrighty. Natalie is quite new, but she's a very, very friendly face. She is currently involved a little bit in band, which is lovely to have her every week. She's always around the place, always helping out. And I'm going to say I think, because I don't have Natalie's brain at the moment, but I think she would like to be more involved in everything going on. She has many opinions all the time, which is great because we always like hearing what everyone has to say. And yeah, she's lovely, and I personally think that she would be a great benefit to our committee.
And we'll just note that she's also a Town of Gawler volunteer. She's in the youth band, and she works in Gawler. She's interested in music and event management and well-being in the environment. And she's passionate about the environment and wants to challenge herself and step out of her comfort zone, which the ACC is really good for. Okay, are there any questions for Natalie / Abby to answer through? Edward? Oh, okay.
Done? Oh, it works. How old are you?
16. She's a young person. Correct. Any other questions? Okay. And with this, we will ask both Emerson and Natalie to step out of the room, and we will discuss, do some voting, and then we'll invite you guys back in. Okay. To the table, would we like to do hand voting, names on paper, yes or no's? Any opinions? Just hands? Is hands all good? Everyone with hands? Anyone opposed to hand voting? No, hand voting it is. Okay. So, all those in favour for Emerson to rejoin the ACC? I thought someone would have to say no, or unanimous. And for Natalie to join us, all those in favour? Unanimously carried. Cool. If maybe Darcy, if you'd like to let them back in. Oh, I need to move in seconds. Any discussion? No, all good. I need a mover and a seconder. A mover, Jack, and a seconder, Darcy. Now you may bring them back in. Thank you. It's been a long day. Okay, I would like to note that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that it notes the expression of interest from Emerson Speed and Natalie White for membership to the Youth Advisory Committee. And having considered the nominations for the candidates of the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee, Emerson Speed and Natalie White be appointed to the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee for a period of 2 years. So congratulations to you both. Okay. Move on to 7.2, which is the Youth Development Officer update. Debbie, would you like to speak to the update?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, thank you. It's been really busy, and I think not having a meeting last month due to public holiday, I do have lots of notes, but I'll try to keep it brief because we've got some other updates happening. January school holidays will hopefully be released in the next week because we are having an end of the year function coming up. So we hope to release those programs. So you should be keeping a lookout for those, and anyone that wants to be involved, let us know because we love having our volunteers and our YAC committee as part of those. We also have a Facebook page, well, obviously the YAC Facebook page, so if you can use that to keep updated, okay, keep checking that for updates. Lately up there, we've had a couple of reports from the Commissioner of Children and Young People, and one being on the annual report, which is this one, which went up on the page, which is quite good and will help us with our reviews in the future. Another one on chronic pain, so that's another review. So there are things going up on the page all the time. So if there's any questions about them, please comment on there or let me know. Today, earlier this morning, we had the Mayor's Christmas card competition award ceremony. So that is the primary school children came in and accepted their awards, and they were very proud. It was a very cute event. So those pictures are still up next door, and there's displays happening throughout the Civic Centre for the next month of November and December. We are desperate for someone to write the December Bunyip Gen Now piece, so if someone could please put up their hand. We've got Abby's going to update us on for November, so we need now someone for December, January and February. So if anyone wants to put up their hand, if you've written one recently, you're more than welcome to write another one in the new year, or you can jump on board. Yeah, so maybe someone that hasn't written one for a while might like to do that. They don't have to be long, they can be 200 to 800 words and a photo of your choice. It doesn't have to be yourself, it can be anything. We've also had some information come through, and again it's up on the Facebook page. There's the School of Entrepreneurship, and they have some courses coming up. So we guests can have a look at those as maybe a training that you'd like to do next year. And they are also looking at bringing a young entrepreneur summit to Adelaide next year called Yes. Which will be on the 17th of June. So if there's anyone interested in attending, please let us know. That is for high school age young people and primary school. If we want to do something as a YAC, they will tailor that training to us, but there's a whole list of courses. So again, they're up on your page if you want to have a look, and obviously that will help us plan next year. Youth Week has been announced. It's the 15th to 24th of March, and we've just started planning to have a youth talent showcase. So we've been working closely with a couple of our volunteers. If any of the YAC committee also want to be involved, obviously we've already got Abby is already helping us with that, but if anyone else wants to be involved, we'd love to hear from you. So it's not just going to be music, it's going to be drama, it's going to be spoken word, it's going to be art, everything, so we're going to try to look at that. So that's the ideas so far, but we will come back to you, and if anyone else wants to be involved as well. We're looking at running a few different things happening over that time. We are having our end of the year event, which last year we decided rather than having one massive big Youth Week event, we'd spread it out over the year. So we are having our showcase next weekend on the 18th of November in the town hall next door. So we're having a drama, but Abby will do some more updating on this a bit later. So I'll leave that up to her. So please come and join us. Please come and watch. It's going to be really good. When you are in volunteering next, if you are a registered Town of Gawler volunteer, we've just got some new JSAs for you to sign as well, so if you can remember to do that, please. Next YAC meeting, you would have noticed tonight, if you've seen your emails, you would have got an invitation to a volunteer dinner at the same time as our meeting. So our meeting will now be a Christmas dinner, which is lovely. So if you can, please all wear your youth shirts. We'd love to get some photos of you all together sitting around celebrating. Also, those of you that have been on the committee for 2 years or each time you renew, if you want a new shirt, we have got shirts available for you, so you can have a new shirt. We also need to take some photos, more photos tonight, so before you get up at the end of the meeting, if I can take some more photos of you around at the table, that'd be great. October school holidays have been complete, but I think I'll leave all the other updates to the other people. So thank you.
Awesome. Any discussion, any questions? All good. Can I please have a mover, Darcy, and a seconder, Jack? All those in favour? Unanimously carried. Thank you very much. We'll move on to 7.3, which is the youth sponsorship program. We have received, if you turn to page 24, we've received 9 applications, and they all fit our requirements that we discussed at our previous meeting. Is there any, except for one that is not listed because they were too young, or they weren't within our age bracket. I don't think it says how old they were. Is there any questions in regards to the youth sponsorship program? Any discussion? Darcy?
Yeah, the 3 cheerleading ones, it just specifies dance competition. Do we know anything about whether that was like a state level kind of competition, or was it just a normal regular dance competition? Because I'm pretty sure like it has to be representing a state level to fit into our sponsorship thing.
Okay.
Like it can't just be a regular competition.
We'll get the staff to check. Because there's also a $200 one for a national level. Any other questions while we look into this? Any other comments? We did not receive any applicants for the art program or the community service program. I'm not sure if that's just due to events that are currently running, or I think for the art one it's mostly the criteria, so I believe there has been discussion on that. If anyone who was at that meeting might want to give a quick update maybe on what was discussed. I unfortunately couldn't be there, so. Oh, Abby's got a whole update.
So we didn't actually have a meeting. It was just Deb and I sitting at the table going,
Oh,
hey,
sorry.
look at all these things. Look at all of our sheets. And so we have gone through, I'll discuss it a bit more in the sponsorship reviewy part, but we kind of just went through the eligibility criteria and went, is this really the best thing for youth specifically? Because if it was like the older generation of people, then maybe. But for youth, it's kind of like, you're all still kids. But yeah, I'll cover that a bit more later on.
Cool, thank you. Okay, well, we might come back to Darcy's question. Is there any more comments, discussions before we vote for these 9 applicants? Nope. We can't vote until we've answered the question. Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. They will be representing South Australia, or they did represent? Okay, yeah. Because if this competition was for them to then represent, then they wouldn't apply. Representing South Australia. Cool, thank you. Now that that question has been answered, do we have a mover? Abby, and a seconder, Edward. All those in favour? Carried unanimously, yes, thank you. Moving on to 7.4, the 2023 Youth Leadership Awards. Is this your area, Cody? No? Maybe with you, Cody, would like to speak.
Yeah, I mean, this is the result of my motion. This is just about the end of year awards that our two local high schools do, and providing an award that's sponsored by us. I guess my question is around when they do on that awards night. Are we who's standing there represent? Is our chair going to be there? Is the mayor going to be there? Who's going to be representing Gawler?
That was part of the discussion for this evening. We were wanting to see if anyone from the AC was interested in coming, because part of the discussion about other sponsorship programs has been that normally you're not there, so we were hoping that at least one or a few of you would like to come along and represent.
Okay. What was the date for that one again, sorry? The 29th of November? I will write that down.
Mic on, sorry. So we're having a sponsorship awards night, so that will be for the sport sponsorships as well, and we're combining it with the leadership so that they would all be awarded on the same evening.
Is this not related to the awards that are being done by the school, where they, like last year, Gawler District was at a Starplex, I think, and they had, you know, the awards night, and this, you know, this is the Rotary sponsored award, and this is the Tony Piccolo sponsored award. Do you know what's happening with that?
That's working. We'll try again. There.
Try that.
I think that's good.
Sorry. No, so we were holding this one separately so that the mayor and the YAC members didn't have to attend separate awards, because it's much harder to coordinate, particularly at the end of year, those schedules. So bring it all together into one, where the town of Gawler is giving those awards or the sponsorships.
Okay. 29th of November, in the evening, I presume?
Yes. 4:30.
4:30? Okay. Unless anyone was wanting to attend, I think I'm available to attend on behalf of the AC, but I'd be more than happy for any other attendees to come along. Yes, Abby?
Are we allowed more than one person? Because I'm happy to come with you, Jade, if you want to go, and if either of us can't make it, then it's fine.
Yeah.
There'll still be the other.
Yeah, I'm more than happy with that, or any other attendees, just even if you just want to sit in the audience and wear your youth shirts, get some photos. Yeah, I don't think any of us have been to a sponsorship award unless you've been lucky enough to receive a sponsorship. But yeah, it might be a good experience for all of us, seeing these are the people that we're giving our award to. Cody, yes?
Maybe it could be put, if we could just get a calendar invite or something, I think that would be the easiest.
Yeah. And
just
anyone who's
to all of
free.
the YAC and
Yes.
to all of the council members, since we're doing an awards night.
Awesome. Any other questions in regards to this recommendation? Any questions? Okay, and with that, I will I will read the recommendation that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the following nominations received for the 2023 Youth Leadership Award, totaling $400, be approved. Sarah Calburn from Trinity College Senior for $200, and Emma Spackman from Gawler and District College B12 for $200. can I have a mover and a seconder? A mover, Jack, and a seconder, Abby. Thank you. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Okay, we will move on to 7.5 then, which is the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee Youth Space Traineeship Proposal. Maybe Deb, if you would like to speak to this motion, or Chia, or someone who knows what they're talking about.
Excellent. So this is just basically a bit of a report about the proposal, which has been brought from the YAC again, about they'd like to go ahead with the next financial year a traineeship, and just we would need to have that ready for February pretty much in terms of budget deliberations. So calling for a subgroup to be formed from interested YAC members. There's 3 spots there, but it can be all of you or it can be less, just however many are interested. And we would work on that over December, January, get it ready for February YAC, and we'll bring it back to this committee to have a look at, work out the type of traineeship, if we're doing the same model as before or different, and then have that ready to submit to council for their budget deliberations. So.
Would Councillor Solomon also be involved in this discussion?
Yes, yeah, we've spoken to him and said that the committee's really keen to have him because he was so involved last time. So he's just waiting for an invite, basically, once we've got the subgroup set up.
Awesome. Any comments or discussion before we ask for nominees? I will nominate myself. I would very much like to be involved. And is there anyone else, or the whole committee maybe, who would like to be involved in our youth space traineeship proposal? Me and Councillor Solomon it is. Okay. If anyone else is interested, please either contact Deb or myself, or even Isaac. I'm sure he'd love to hear from anyone. Or Jack would like to speak. Just cutting him off, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. So whilst I don't think I might have the capacity to join onto the subcommittee just due to work timeframes, I do recommend that others do think about joining, having been involved in the process last time with the first motion. I found it was a really good experience with getting to better understand council's budgetary processes and to get a feel for how these processes occur. And yeah, I feel like I definitely learnt a lot. So yeah, just throwing that out there.
Cool. Any other comments, Cody?
Yeah, I guess just a brief explanation again, since there's some new people. But this traineeship, the Youth Advisory Committee put in a budget proposal a couple of years ago for a youth space trainee, and that wrapped up, June or so? May. And so if we want to have another trainee, you have to put in a proposal, which, yeah, you don't need to understand all the technical details of motions and things. That's what the staff will help with, but it is just about, just the planning and, speaking to council and that sort of thing. I'm not going to be on it because it's a conflict of interest, because it will come to council for budget decisions. But it is a worthwhile thing to do.
Cool. Yes, the youth trainee kind of helps out, learns how to take on a role of kind of basically what Deb does, and helps us with our meetings, and they do a TAFE course on the side as well. It's just a good opportunity for another young person to gain experience in kind of a real world setting where they get to work in a council like ours. So yes, if there's any other questions or anyone's interested in joining maybe at a later date, please reach out. Do I need a mover and a seconder for this proposal? Yes. Okay. Can I please have a mover and a seconder? A mover, please. Emerson, and a seconder, Jack. Thank you. And all those in favour? Carried unanimously. It's kind of hard to see behind. Okay, we'll move on to item 8, which is the items listed for discussion. 8.1 is the chair's verbal update. I do not have an update at the current moment, as I have been very busy with university and haven't been able to have my meetings with the mayor. I don't believe we'll be having any more for the rest of the year. I don't think you've attended any, have you, Abby? No. Yeah, it's been a lot. So hopefully in the new year, with my last couple months as chairperson, I'll be able to attend a few more meetings with her. But yeah, that's all I have to update. 8.2 is the Youth Advisory Panel update, and Abby is going to provide an update for us. Yes.
Thank you, Jade. A lot has been happening. So we recently had our end of year sort of meeting thing where we just discussed possible events for next year. The youth officer from Playford Council and I kind of shared with the group all of the programs and opportunities that our respective councils offer for the youth of our areas. It was very interesting to see how many similar programs we offer and how the things that we sort of don't really dive much into, Playford has a lot to do with, and then the things that we do a lot of, they haven't really dipped their foot into it yet. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that. I had shared my knowledge on the things that the Gawler Sport and Community Centre, the Gawler Aquatic Centre and our Civic Centre offer, specifically covering the opportunities available to youth and the impacts that we're aware of so far from the opportunities. And we're organising to possibly have another district tour early next year with the new individuals representing each of the schools in the local area.
Awesome. Any questions? We'll move on to 8.3, which is the goal of youth accessibility to transport. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier about, but Xanthi has decided not to renew her membership, hence why she did not reapply after her term has ended. She will hopefully be looking to rejoin in the new year, according to my notes, but does anyone have the desire to continue on with the idea to form a subgroup to look at promoting a way to promote public safe transport? There's even notes here that could be a social media campaign. It doesn't have to be in person per se. I was very interested in this group as well, so I'm looking to definitely be part of it, maybe not leading it per se, but any comments?
Yeah, I think there's the people who aren't here this meeting. I think Max was quite interested, yeah. And I think was basically just waiting for Xanthi to both be at the same meeting and stuff, and it never happened, and so it hasn't started yet, but I think Max would be interested.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we do a Facebook post and see who would be interested in joining, and we can form a group chat from there. Yes, Jack?
I was just wondering if I could make a motion to thank Xanthi for her contributions to the YAC.
We have that in the end, but thank you for noting that. Yes, we'll hopefully create a Facebook post then, and maybe form a group chat or something where you can share ideas about forming a subcommittee. 8.4 is Bike Month. Jack, do you have an update for Bike Month?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Jade. So, Bike Month has officially finished, and I'd like to thank Deb for her amazing support with organising all of the social media elements to it, and to Max for his inputs as well. I did see we got quite a lot of traction on social media, which was quite nice to see, and yeah, I sort of did notice there was a few more people riding around town as I was driving home from work, and cycling around town as well, so that was really nice. And yeah, looking to sort of continue that momentum in the coming months to try and keep that rolling. No, pun not intended, but we'll go with that.
Any questions for Jack in regards to Bike Month? Deb would like to speak.
Sorry, through the chair, I just wanted to update you as well. The maps that we got, Jack, that we had in all the council buildings were all gone within that week. We first put them up, and the Visitors Information Centre has now got them back in stock because they were out of stock for a while. Didn't realise they'd come back in stock, so they're now permanently over there. So well done.
Cool. Okay, if there's no comments or discussion, we'll move on to 8.5, which is the youth programs update. And I believe we have multiple people speaking about different elements of the youth programs. So I'll start with Abby, who I believe is talking about drama. Oops, sorry, I just cancelled you. Sorry, we just learned how that button works.
I've been robbed of my speaking privileges. So I'm going to be covering drama, Ren will be covering band, and then Emerson will be covering the film sort of stuff. For drama, we're still organising the end of year show, which is in a few weekends' time. We're just rehearsing and running through the performance as well as finalising our props and all of the behind the scenes work. Over to Ren.
Hello. So the band has been working on getting our new original song to sound more fluent in a live setting. And we're looking forward to our upcoming performances, those being the 18th of November end-of-year performance at the Gawler Civic Centre and the Gawler Christmas Carols on December the 9th. My recent newspaper article asking community members for some ideas for songs, had some interesting, ideas come back to us, so that's cool. Yes, so it's great to hear what the community thinks, and we appreciate the value and support. And a quick update on the Life Changer immersion thing. I attended the course during the school holidays. The content of the course was obviously designed to be relevant to a wide range of people, and the activities were quite engaging. But a large group of participants would probably work better for some of the activities. Personally, I didn't find, some of them relevant to myself, but I'm sure others would.
Hello? Okay, it's working. So with the film, for a couple of weeks now, there's been a poster in the youth space to write any ideas down. They met last week. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I've learned that they are planning to shoot in January next year, I think for 24th. And there's a meeting this Thursday for some more ideas, I think, or just planning, starting it up. That's all.
Cool. Maybe just on what Ren was saying about the Life Changer event he attended. Okay, cool. We will return to that potentially, unless you have nothing else to say at 8.9. Because I knew there was a spot where we can discuss events we've attended. But if that's it from the youth programs update, we'll move on to the youth events update. And Abby will take us again.
As previously mentioned, the end of year show is quickly approaching. The Gawler Christmas Carols are also quickly approaching, as well as the Villawood Christmas Parade. Just a note on that, anybody who has their Working with Kids check that would like to walk along with the Town of Gawler float at the Christmas Parade, let me know by tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll have a chat with the person organising it tomorrow afternoon. If you do put your hand up, please make sure that the lovely Deb has a copy of your Working with Kids check details. And pretty much just off of that, holidays is over, thankfully. Deb, I know, was absolutely knackered, but I'm pretty sure that everything went really well, and we're looking forward to our next set of school holiday programs.
Cool, thank you. Any questions in regards to that? We'll move on to 8.7, which is the Youth Space Traineeship Proposal Budget Bid Update. I believe we've kind of already discussed this, Cody, if you're cool just to move on. 8.8 is the Youth Sponsorship Review. English is my first language. Abby, are you speaking to this as well? Thank you.
Alrighty, so we have had these sticky notes in the youth space for a really long time, and we've had a few ideas jotted down, but as we mentioned earlier, we didn't really have a proper meeting the other week because it was just Deb and I sat at the table scribbling notes down. I'm going to leave these next to the door for a bit before we leave, so if anybody has any ideas that you think might be beneficial, feel free to write them down. We did go through the criteria and we kind of scribbled a few bits and bats out. We being Deb and I, we kind of thought that the community involvement thing, in our opinion, didn't really make a lot of sense because we're all involved in the community anyway. If we're here, we're kind of involved. So far we were kind of just thinking about narrowing it down to sports and then arts. So those were the two kind of sectors. the youth, like, I don't know how to word this, sorry, the youth sponsorship program as like a whole, I guess, we were looking to put forward a motion next year, because we're going to start fresh next year, for a list of all of the Gawler sporting clubs, arts and artistic, like, drama groups, so that we have a list of everything. Because Deb and I were speaking about what is kind of the criteria, like, do you have to live in Gawler, work in Gawler, be a part of this club? So we're hoping to just narrow it down so we know what's happening. But yeah, I'll pop the sticky notes next to the door. If you have any ideas, come have a chat, and we'll hopefully dive into it properly at the start of next year.
Cool. Any questions or comments in regards to the sponsorships? Nope. We will move on to the life change immersion feedback. If you've got anything else to add to that, Ren, or... No, all good. Item 9 is items listed for discussion at future meetings. I don't believe we have anything. Nope. 10 is questions without notice. Do we have any questions without notice? Cody?
So, our next meeting is in February, correct? In between then, what's happening?
December is the dinner, and then January we don't have one.
No one's back in.
Yeah, everyone's on leave. Any other questions without notice? Nope. We'll move on to 11, which is motions without notice, and we should have. Yep, sorry. Jack will be our mover, seeing he brought it up earlier, but it is that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee acknowledges the resignation of Xanthi Kennedy, and the committee thanks Xanthi for her service of the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee. Jack will be our mover, if Jack would like to. And our questions?
Just nitpicking, because I like to do that. Did she resign, or did she come to the end of her term?
She's end of the term next month. So she resigned.
Yes. We have a mover, and we'd like a seconder. Abby, all those in favour? Unanimously carried. Thank you. We will close the meeting at 7:34, and our next meeting is Monday the 5th of February. So thank you all for attending. Councillor White?
Could I just speak very quickly, if that's okay, Jade? Sorry to cut in. I just wanted to quickly state that at the end of this month, Council decides on council members' positions on committees and external groups, and one of them is the Youth Advisory Committee. So it's where we get 12-month stints on committees. So if Councillor Davies and I wanted to go again, we have to reapply to go again. I believe Councillor Davies is interested in continuing on, but I just wanted to let everyone know that just due to time commitments with my activities on council and a few other things, I've had to make the very sad decision that I won't be re-nominating to come on the YAC for next year's term. It's been one I haven't taken lightly, because I really, really loved seeing what you guys are doing. You're doing awesome things, and you're definitely in safe hands with each other. So, yeah, I've really loved it. Look, I won't be running away too far. You know where to find me, and I'll always be around the place and definitely be involved in all the youth activities. And who knows, hopefully maybe this time next year I'll be in a bit of a better position to re-nominate again. But on the bright side, you will get someone else, potentially two, but someone else new from council, which will be exciting. So, but wish you all the best. Thank you for having me. And again, I'm not running away. I'll definitely still be involved, but thank you so much for having me, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Are we able to put a motion to thank Councillor White? Is that required? Can we just thank him informally? Thank you, Councillor White. They just kind of disappeared, and then we never heard from them again.
I don't know, because he hasn't really... He's not gone yet.
We'll just thank him informally. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you next year, if we remember.
Yeah, if we remember. Okay, we will officially close the meeting at 7:36. Thank you all. See you soon next year at dinner, Christmas dinner, Christmas.
Thank you.